You think your name is just a label, a word your parents chose. But what if I told you that your name is a spiritual mirror, a secret encoded with your soul's journey? Brothers and sisters, we live in a world where names are taken for granted. They are printed on ID cards, whispered in classrooms, typed into databases. But spiritually, your name is more than identification, it is intention. It is the first vibration that entered this world to represent you. Your name is not accidental, it is energetic, it is alive, it speaks, but do you listen? Let me guide you through the A to Z spiritual decode, a symbolic journey through each letter that may appear in your name. And I invite you not just to hear, but to feel what resonates. Let us begin. Awakening, you are here to begin something new, to spark change, be balance. You carry the energy of duality, harmony, and peace. See clarity, your path involves cutting through confusion to find truth. D, devotion, you're built to commit to ideas, to people, to purpose. E, expression, your voice is sacred, your words are spells. Use them wisely. F, freedom, the chains you break are not only your own but others too. G, growth, life will stretch you, but you were made to expand. And so on, covering the full alphabet in the video. Each letter is not just a sound, it is a spiritual essence. When you put them together, your full name becomes a vibrational blueprint of who you are destined to become. But why is this important? Because we often search for meaning in the world and stars, in religion, in books, while forgetting to look into the most personal thing we carry every day, our own name. Your name holds your shadows and your light. It reveals your soul tasks, it hints at your spiritual origin, and more importantly, it whispers who you are becoming. So I ask you this, have you ever sat with your name in silence? Have you ever asked it what it wants to teach you? In Shaolin wisdom, we are taught, a name is not a cage, it is a compass. Your name does not bind you, it points you to yourself. Decode it, embrace it, honor it. Because the day you start listening to your name is the day you start remembering who you truly are. Peace within, peace around. When we are born, we are given a name. Most of us grow up thinking of it as nothing more than a combination of letters, a convenience used to call us, label us, identify us. Yet few realize that a name is far more than a functional tag. It is a sacred vibration, chosen either by destiny or deep intuitive guidance. Whether your name was selected by your parents for its cultural meaning, numerological value, or simply because it sounded good. The truth is your name carries energy. That energy does not begin with the letters on paper. It begins with the vibrational frequency of the sound itself. When spoken aloud, your name sends ripples into the universe. Those ripples shape the way others perceive you and, more importantly, how you begin to perceive yourself. In spiritual traditions, names have always held immense power. In ancient Chinese philosophy, in Vedic traditions, in mystic Christianity and Kabbalah, a person's name was seen as a bridge between the material world and the unseen dimension of the soul. To name something was to summon its spirit. To speak it aloud was to call it into being. Have you ever noticed how certain names carry a feeling? When you hear the name Grace, doesn't it sound gentle and elegant? When you hear Victor, doesn't it suggest strength or triumph? These impressions are not random. They are subtle vibrations encoded into the syllables. Your name, in this way, becomes your first spiritual teacher, a word that carries clues to your character, your purpose, and even your destiny. This is why we must move beyond the idea that names are empty signs. They are not. They are living signatures of the soul. Your name carries your energetic DNA. Your name echoes through every relationship you form. It is the frequency that precedes you into rooms, the sound others remember when you are gone. It holds your karma, your potential, your mirror. What does this mean for your life? It means that you are never separate from your name, even when you dislike it, even when you change it. The vibration of that original name still exists like an imprint, woven into your timeline. So ask yourself, have I truly heard my name before in silence, in spirit? Have I explored the meanings of each letter it contains? What does the sound of my name awaken inside me? To call yourself by name is to call yourself home. That is why your name must be honored, not as a label, but as a spiritual vibration. One that has always been trying to tell you something about who you are and who you came here to become. The alphabet, a system so common, so ordinary, is often overlooked as anything more than a set of tools to construct language. But hidden within those 26 letters is an ancient and subtle intelligence. A language behind the language, a spiritual symbolism that whispers messages to those who are willing to listen. Each letter is not just a character on a page, it is a vibrational archetype, a building block of consciousness. The form it takes, the sound it creates, and the energy it evokes all carry symbolic weight. These symbols, when arranged into names, are not random. They hold soul signatures. Let's take just a few examples to understand the depth of this idea. The letter A, often the first in a name, represents awakening, initiation, and creation. It stands tall like a mountain, symbolic of someone who is meant to lead, to start, to spark change. The letter B has a more nurturing curve, suggesting balance, belonging, and support. It reflects duality and softness, a person who carries emotional depth and harmony. C curves open, like an ear ready to listen, or a hand ready to receive. It symbolizes clarity, curiosity, and communication, the seeker of wisdom who cuts through confusion to find truth. Every letter from D to Z has a spiritual frequency. Some are grounding, like G and H, tied to growth and healing. Others are expansive, like M and N, tied to movement and navigation. And still others like X, Y, and Z carry the energies of transformation, the unknown, the divine mystery at the edge of our human understanding. When these letters are strung together into your name, they form a pattern, a map, a sequence of coded insights, and the order matters. A person whose name begins with S might carry the vibration of strength, silence, or spirituality at the forefront of their soul mission. Someone whose name ends in T might find that their journey completes in truth, tenacity, or transcendence. Think about this. The letters that appear most in your name are the energies you must master. The ones that are absent may represent lessons your soul chose to explore by contrast, and the ones at the beginning and end of your name often shape how you enter and exit the spaces of your life. This is why decoding your name through each letter at Z is a spiritual practice in itself. It requires stillness, reflection, and reverence. You are not merely analyzing a word, you are translating the voice of your soul. In the same way that sacred geometry reveals the divine in physical shapes, and in the same way that numerology gives deeper meaning to numbers, this letter-based decoding invites you to see your name as a soulful construction, not a coincidence. There is wisdom in every stroke, every curve, every sharp edge of the alphabet, and that wisdom is waiting to be remembered through your name. To most people, a full name is something administrative used on documents, formal introductions, or legal papers. But from a spiritual perspective, your full name is not just your identity on paper, it is a blueprint of energy, a living diagram of the forces you carry, the lessons you are here to master, and the purpose you were designed to fulfill. Just as architects use blueprints to design buildings, intricate drawings that define structure, flow, and foundation, your full name is the architectural plan of your soul's incarnation. It reveals not just who you are on the surface, but who you are becoming on the soul level. Every syllable carries a tone, a rhythm, a meaning. The first name often reflects your individual self, how you move through the world, how you see yourself, and how you express your energy. It is the face of your soul's intention in this life. The middle name, when present, often represents a bridge, a deeper karmic or ancestral thread that connects your past life energies to your present. And the surname, or family name, usually carries the weight of lineage, the spiritual inheritance, both blessings and burdens that come from your bloodline. When all names are combined, they create a complete frequency. This full vibration is like a tuning fork that aligns you with certain experiences, people, and lessons, sometimes even challenges that are necessary for your soul's evolution. For instance, if your name includes a repetition of letters such as S, H, or M, it may indicate a soul inclined towards spiritual mastery, inner silence, and the pursuit of harmony. If your name is sharp, with hard consonants like K, T, or D, it might reflect a purpose rooted in decisive action, leadership, and resilience, a life path filled with trials that are meant to refine, not break you. Vowels like A, E, I, O, and U carry unique energetic fields as well. They are the breath of your name, giving it tone and resonance. A name rich in vowels may suggest emotional sensitivity, adaptability, or a heightened connection to intuition. And then, consider this. Even the number of letters in your name carries symbolic weight. Through practices such as numerology, each letter corresponds to a number, and when these are added, they reveal vibrational patterns, life path numbers, destiny numbers, soul urges, each offering a glimpse into your deeper self. But beyond these systems, there is also something subtle and intuitive. How your name feels in your mouth, how it sounds when spoken by others, how it echoes in your memory when you hear it internally. Have you noticed that your full name can change the energy in a room when said aloud, that it carries a kind of power or presence beyond just the syllables? That's because it contains your energetic DNA. And just as DNA carries information about the body's structure and function, your name carries information about your spiritual structure and function. It tells the universe what you are here to do. It opens the doors to certain spiritual contracts and closes others. When you begin to see your name this way as an energetic blueprint, you stop treating it like something casual. You begin to hold it with reverence as you would a sacred symbol or mantra, because it is precisely that, a living mantra uniquely crafted for your path. And so, your full name is not just something you were given. It's something your soul agreed upon, a pattern of vibration that calls forth your challenges, your transformation, and ultimately, your higher becoming. In a world that moves fast, where we rush to identify, categorize, and label everything, the name we carry often becomes just another convenience, something we answer to, something printed on a badge or profile, something we use so frequently that we forget to ask the most important question: what does my name actually mean beyond language? For most people, their name is the one word they've heard the most throughout their lifetime, yet the one they have examined the least. We become so used to hearing it, saying it, and seeing it written down that its true significance becomes invisible, like wallpaper we've grown blind to. We stop hearing the echo behind the sound, but the truth is this: Your name is not just a word, it is a whisper of your soul's design. It carries spiritual memory. It holds fragments of your life's mission. It is a compass pointing toward your essence, if only you take a moment to look closely. Why do we overlook something so personal, so intimate? Because society doesn't teach us to search inward. We are trained to look for meaning in titles, degrees, professions, followers, but not in the original sound that was given to us when we entered this life. Some people say it's just a name, but is it? When someone mispronounces your name, don't you feel something inside, a twinge, a disconnection, as if your essence wasn't fully recognized? That's not coincidence. That's energy. Your name is an energetic portal, and when spoken correctly, it anchors you into the present, into identity, into memory. And yet, we rarely explore this sacred terrain. We don't ask, what qualities does my name bring forth? What ancient energies does it carry from my ancestry or past lives? Why was this exact name, this combination of letters and sound, given to me and not another? The truth is, your name was not chosen randomly, even if it seems that way. Even if your parents picked it out of a book, or because it sounded nice. Spirit works through all channels, including intuition, impulse, and even so-called chance. Your soul may have nudged them toward it. It may have whispered, "This is the name I need in order to grow through the lessons of this lifetime." Yet, instead of pausing to explore that possibility, we often detach from our name. We shorten it, nickname it, hide from it, or even reject it completely because the true meaning makes us uncomfortable, or perhaps because deep down we're not yet ready to confront what our name is reflecting back to us. But when you begin to look at your name not just as a sound, but as a spiritual mirror, you awaken something dormant within. You begin to feel that there's a purpose in the way your name feels on your lips. A reason for the letters that make it up, a deeper invitation to step into your highest self. So many people spend their lives chasing meaning outside themselves, never realizing that one of the greatest keys to self-understanding has been with them all along, spoken thousands of times, etched into every introduction, softly vibrating within every part of their identity. That key is your name. It has never stopped holding the truth. You just haven't been taught to listen to it until now. When we hear the word destiny, we often imagine something external, a grand journey, a career, a relationship, or a life-changing event that unfolds over time. But what if destiny was already encoded in something far more intimate, something that's been with you since birth, something you speak and hear every single day? That something is your name. Your name is not just a tool of recognition, it is a container, a sacred vessel. It holds energy, and within that energy are three profound components. Your life lessons, the patterns you are here to confront and transcend. Your gifts, the spiritual tools and talents you are meant to offer the world. Your soul path, the direction your higher self chose before entering this physical realm. Let's begin with the life lessons. Each letter in your name and the way it repeats or stands out can point towards certain karmic challenges, emotional patterns, belief systems, or recurring obstacles that are not coincidences but assignments. For instance, a person with multiple L's in their name may be learning love, letting go, and leadership from the heart. Someone with strong consonants like R, T, or D might face life lessons tied to responsibility, truth, and discipline. When you decode your name consciously, you begin to see these patterns not as random struggles, but as invitations. Your name becomes a map of spiritual refinement, showing you exactly what parts of your ego must soften and what parts of your spirit must rise. Now, Let's talk about gifts. Just as your name holds the echo of your challenges, it also sings the notes of your strengths. There are letters that symbolize communication, healing, creativity, resilience, intuition, adaptability, and their presence in your name suggests that your soul has chosen these gifts for a reason. These are not talents you've stumbled upon, they are encoded potentials that your name is quietly revealing. For example, a name filled with vowels often belongs to someone gifted in expression, empathy, or sound, perhaps a speaker, healer, or artist. A name anchored by M, N, or V may indicate someone with deep emotional intelligence, vision, or mastery of movement and flow. Repeating letters often point to a magnification of spiritual potential, a soul that's here not just to learn, but to teach through embodied wisdom. But perhaps the most sacred insight your name offers is about your soul path. Before we enter this world, many traditions believe the soul chooses its path, a unique spiritual trajectory that will allow it to grow, evolve, and serve. Your name becomes the first physical clue of that path. It aligns you with certain vibrations, opens doors to specific experiences, and even connects you with people whose names and energies resonate in synchrony with your own. This is why some people feel a magnetic pull towards certain environments or vocations. Their name is quietly steering them, like an inner compass made of sound and syllable. If you've ever felt like your life has a rhythm, like certain things just make sense, it's not just intuition. It could be the silent pulse of your name's vibration aligning you with your soul path. Even more mysteriously, those who change their name by marriage, choice, or reinvention often notice energetic shifts. That's because a name change isn't cosmetic, it's vibrational. It can alter the spiritual current of your life, sometimes subtly, sometimes drastically, and whether the new name aligns with your soul or diverts you away from it depends on whether it harmonizes with your deeper truth. So when you begin to examine your full name, every letter, every repetition, every sound, you're not just analyzing a word, you're studying the manuscript of your soul's journey. You're uncovering a personal scripture that contains your trials, your triumphs, and your sacred calling. Your name, then, becomes more than identity. It becomes a doorway, a passage to your truest self. In the ancient teachings of the Shaolin tradition, everything is seen as a reflection of the inner world. The body, the breath, the mind, all are tools for cultivating awareness and truth. But among these teachings lies a subtle insight, often overlooked in modern society. Your name is not a prison, it is a pointer. Not a limitation, but a direction. In other words, your name is a compass, not a cage. Too often, people feel stuck within the sound of their name. They associate it with childhood trauma, a painful past, cultural restriction, or the identity others have projected onto them. Some feel burdened by the heaviness of their family name or disconnected from the way it sounds. Others feel that their name doesn't fit the person they are becoming. This discontent is not shallow. It is the soul's way of saying, look deeper. There is something you have not yet understood. Shaolin wisdom does not ask you to abandon your name or escape from it. It teaches you to observe it, to sit in stillness and ask, what direction is my name pointing me toward? What energy is it trying to awaken within me? How can I follow the compass instead of trying to break the frame? This ancient view encourages us to stop reacting to our name and instead walk with it, to treat it like a sacred instrument, carefully tuned to guide us through life's terrain. Think of a compass. It does not force you to walk a certain path. It simply tells you which direction is aligned. You can still choose, you can still wander, you can even ignore it, but the compass will always be there, quietly, pointing north. Your name works the same way. Let's imagine someone named Daniel. He feels limited by his name, associating it with formality, rigidity, or parental expectations. But what if he pauses and reflects on the deeper spiritual blueprint of his name? He might find that the D speaks of devotion, A of awakening, N of navigation, I of inner knowing, E of expression, and L of love and leadership. Suddenly, the name is not a wall, it is a map. The same applies to all of us. Whether your name feels like a burden or a blessing, the question is not whether you like it, the question is whether you've decoded it. Because only when you uncover the direction it offers, can you begin to walk with it consciously, rather than resisting it unconsciously. In Shaolin teachings, identity is never fixed. It is flowing like water. And just like the wind uses the shape of the mountain to find its way forward, your spirit uses your name to move through life with direction, not with force. This is why monks and spiritual seekers in various traditions often adopt new names not to escape who they are, but to align more fully with who they are becoming. But even when names change, the energy of the original name remains within the soul's coding, like a first frequency always guiding, always reminding. Your name, then, is not here to limit you. It is here to orient you. It is a compass in disguise, a quiet force that gently urges you back on track when the noise of life makes you forget who you are. And once you begin to walk with that compass, once you learn how to read it, trust it, and follow it, something shifts. You stop resisting your path, you start remembering it. On the journey of life, we are constantly told to find ourselves. We search in careers, in relationships, in distant places, hoping that somewhere out there we will stumble upon who we really are. But what if the beginning of that search, the true starting point of self-discovery, lies not in some far-off place, but in something we've carried with us all along, your name, before you were anything else, before you learned to walk, speak, or think you had a name? It was given to you at the threshold of life. It was the first sound the world used to define you. And whether it was whispered gently by a parent or announced in ceremony, that name became your first energetic imprint on earth. But most people never pause to reflect on this. They dive into self-improvement and spiritual practice without considering the most foundational question: what does my name say about me? In the Shaolin tradition and many other spiritual lineages, the path to inner peace begins with one word: awareness. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of all growth. You cannot heal what you have not observed. You cannot transform what you have not named. And so the journey inward always begins by turning your gaze back on yourself, not with judgment, but with curiosity and respect. That's where your name comes in. It becomes the first mirror in which you see your soul's signature. It reflects more than personality, it echoes purpose, karma, spiritual texture. Your name offers you clues about what energies are dominant in your life, what tendencies shape your behavior, what emotional frequencies your soul came here to master. By exploring your name letter by letter, sound by sound, you begin to unravel a deeper awareness of your true nature. You're no longer only the personality that society shaped or the version of you formed by circumstance. You start to witness the eternal part of yourself, the part that chose this lifetime, this name, this path. Imagine waking up one morning, sitting in silence, and writing your full name on a blank page, then asking, "What do I feel when I see this name? What memories rise when I hear it aloud? What lessons has this name carried me through? What might the letters be inviting me to embody?" In doing so, You shift your relationship with your identity. You no longer treat your name as an accidental label, you treat it as an encoded message. And when you decode that message, you awaken to parts of yourself you didn't even know were sleeping. This is self-awareness in its purest form, becoming conscious of the frequencies that have shaped your life from the very beginning. And the more you tune into this awareness, the more intentional your choices become. You begin to live not by default, but by design. You align your outer life with your inner truth. You walk forward with clarity because you've taken the time to understand your starting point. Many people meditate for years trying to silence the mind and hear the soul. But one of the simplest, most direct ways to begin that dialogue is by meditating on your own name, by tracing its sounds, by uncovering its energies, by listening to the silence behind its syllables. Your name is not separate from your spiritual path. It is the first step, the first key, the first answer to the question, who am I? In a world saturated with noise, digital alerts, constant conversation, never-ending movement, silence has become a rare and sacred space. Yet, it is only in silence that we truly hear. It is only in stillness that we begin to perceive the deeper layers of truth not outside of us, but within. And so it is with your name. You have heard your name spoken thousands of times. Teachers called it out. Friends shouted it. Family members whispered it with love or anger. But when was the last time you sat with it, not to repeat it mechanically, but to truly listen to what it holds? Because the truth is this: your name has been speaking to you your entire life. Not in loud declarations or dramatic signs, but in subtle impressions, emotions, synchronicities, and patterns. It has always been there, a quiet, persistent echo in the background of your consciousness. But like all spiritual messages, it can only be heard through reflection. When you enter into intentional silence and focus your awareness on your name, you activate a kind of inner decoding. Your conscious mind softens. Your soul begins to surface, and suddenly, the letters of your name no longer feel random. They begin to glow with meaning. They form a sequence like keys on a spiritual piano, waiting for you to play them. In that space of inner listening, you may discover emotions that are tied to certain syllables, memories that arise when you repeat your name slowly, like a mantra, energies that swell in your chest when you focus on each letter. You might feel warmth, heaviness, lightness, resistance. These sensations are not accidental. They are your soul's response to the vibration of your name telling you what it wants to be seen, healed, or embraced. This practice is not complex. You don't need rituals or knowledge of mystical systems to begin. All you need is presence. Sit down, breathe deeply, write your name on a piece of paper, say it aloud slowly, reverently, as though it were a sacred chant. Then pause and listen, not just with your ears, but with your being. What does the sound stir within you? What does the shape of the letters reveal? What emotions rise without warning? Sometimes, just by sitting with your name in this way, you begin to receive insights. You begin to feel why you are here, what your life has been trying to teach you, what patterns you've been repeating, what energy you've been resisting, or what part of you you've been afraid to embody. Your name, when held in stillness, becomes a portal, a bridge between your outer identity and your inner essence. It becomes a spiritual mirror, not reflecting how the world sees you, but how your soul knows you. And as you deepen your practice of silence and reflection, you might find that your name begins to reveal even more the inherited energy of your ancestors, the spiritual contracts you've made, the wounds you've come to transmute, the gifts you've come to share. It doesn't happen all at once, but over time, your name begins to feel like a companion, not something you carry, but something that carries you. It becomes a source of guidance, a frequency that steadies your path when you forget who you are, a sacred reminder that even in the chaos of the world, there is still a thread of meaning, of truth, encoded in the name you were given. But you can only hear it when you get quiet. You can only feel it when you go inward. And that is the great paradox of awakening. The answers we chase in the outer world have been whispering to us all along in the rhythm of our breath, in the beat of our hearts. And yes, in the quiet syllables of our name. I will add a to Z spiritual letter decode in description check below now. So now you know your name is not just a name. It is your signature from the soul, your blueprint, your first guide, and your silent teacher. You carry this vibration with you every day into your relationships, your challenges, your dreams. And now, for the first time, you've been reminded that you can read it, feel it, and rise with it. The truth is, you are not lost. You are not behind. You are exactly where your soul intended you to be. And your name has been whispering your power to you all along. So don't be afraid to say your name out loud with pride, with love, and with the knowing that it was chosen for a reason. You are not here by chance. You are here by design. And if your name carries a story, then you have the power to finish it with purpose. Reflect on it. Decode it. Fire live by it. Because within your name is the beginning of your becoming. If this message touched something deep inside you, if you felt something stir in your heart, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to this channel because this is just the beginning of a journey into self-discovery, spiritual awakening, and deep inner power. Drop a comment with your name and how it made you feel. Let's create a space where our names are no longer forgotten sounds, but remembered truths. You are your name. You are your message. You are your miracle. Now go live it.